Hello, welcome back to my channel. Another day, another rebirth. I hope all is well. I hope you're loving yourself and letting yourself be loved. Now, speaking of love, today we're going to do a pick a pile. I'm not going to really show the cards. You'll pick from the time steps below in the description. And yeah, let's get to this love-ish. See you there. Hello, pile one. Hi, my loves. Let's talk about love. And yeah, let's just get into it. This pal was very like intense, but not intense in a like, oh, this is so heavy. Intense and I'm so excited on the journey you're embarking on. So let's just get into it. So, for you, my love, the overall message of this is you will find love after you tapped into the truest, purest, most vulnerable. See, I can't even say that word. That shows you how vulnerable I am. The most truest, vulnerable version of yourself, your creative self, your expressive self. Once you tap into that person, you will be led into all the most loving, genuinely warm, loving rooms. Something tells me there's a level of unsureness you've had in your life, because people have talked you out of your true feelings. They've taught you not to like the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you express yourself. They've taught you not to trust your ori, your intuition. They taught you not to love what you see when you look in the mirror. And it could have started at home. And you're like, how am I supposed to love myself, take care of my true self, when the very people who were supposed to raise me taught me not to love that version of myself? But you have to reconnect with whoever creator intended for you to be. I say that. I said, Creator, help me see the version of myself that you intend for me to be, right? Self-love is a journey, and for you, Power One, your guides are making sure you see yourself. That loving, that warm, that strong, that kind, that tender person, so you can attract that. If we believe in soulmates, right, we have to find a mate of the soul, the version of our soul that is the healthiest. You know, you don't want to attract someone that is the bitter, the angry parts of yourself, right? Who you have chosen to be around in the past or maybe in the present have not truly reflected your needs properly, or the type of safety and care you need. And I'm gonna use a quick anecdotal, like, story. So I had this friend, right? And the more I became friends with her, the more I got to know her. You know, you got to get to know a person to see if you want to continue to get to know them, if that makes sense. Like, but I loved her. I loved her dearly. But the type of friend she was not the friend I needed. And it may be good for somebody else, but I understood my trauma. Okay, helicopter. Why are you flying so low? What's that about? Okay. But the type of friend that I required because of the tender spots in my heart, right? If I know I have a particular weak spot and that person is pushing the buttons on that weak spot, we can't be friends. Now, somebody else, it might not bother, but for me, that's why you have to be aware of your truest self and not people please and not settle. And there's a fire, a passion inside of you, Power One, that you've been convinced to like let go of, to not really express that part of yourself because you've been told that it was too much, you know? You have to believe yourself the first time whenever you feel something, whenever you see something, because if you continue to talk yourself out of that intuition, right, not to listen to your Ori, right, then you're going to continue to be up in the room with losers and abusers, and we don't want that. Sometimes we get comfortable with being uncomfortable because we've been uncomfortable for our whole childhood, for our teenage years, and now we're adults and we're on our own and we're choosing to choose familiar hells instead of unfamiliar heavens, right? You can trust yourself. Once you build that confidence back up, then, you know, I know I say you know a lot, but you know, some people are attracted to the broken, unhealed. And I put quotes because I don't feel like anyone's broken. You may feel broken, your heart may feel broken, but you're not broken. But that version of yourself may attract certain things. And some people, even friends, will love you because they feel like, oh, they can't one up me right now. They're not living a happy life. I love that for them. I love that they're not living a happy life. I love that they can't recognize their self and their power, and they've left their talents somewhere in the past, and they're not acting on it, and they're not being the version of themselves that God called them to be. I love that for them because now I get to be in the spotlight, and now I get to attract, you know. Get to know yourself again. Reconnect with your passions. Fall in love with a creative version of yourself again. The ability to recognize genuine love. So we have to have the ability to walk into rooms and recognize that there are rooms that we're supposed to be in. Because if we're not confident, if we can't recognize why somebody loves us, then we're gonna self-sabotage. I've been there before. Even communal love. This message isn't just about romantic love. This is about communal love. This is about universal love. This is about self-love. And if you can't recognize that you're amazing, that you're worth loving just because you exist, that your talents, your art is worth loving, it is worth being shared, it is worth the holding and being near and dear in the hearts of those that love you. If you don't recognize your worth, you're going to self-sabotage and walk away from what you deserve every single time. Go to new places, be courageous, even if it is by yourself. You're not going to find love in the same old places, having the same old habits. You're going to have to go sit down at that restaurant. If your heart is feeling called to a place, chances are your heart may feel called to the people in that place. You have to learn how to put the past behind you. You have to know that you're protected in every form, in the physical and the metaphysical realm, in the spiritual realm. You have to believe that you're protected, and that those things that have happened to people who claim they love you will never happen again. As long as you trust yourself, your guides, and your intuition, your Ori, that will never happen again. And you're not afraid of love, Power. You're afraid of something evil disguising itself as love again. But now you know better. You're wise, you're beautiful, you're talented, you're kind. You have a gift of seeing and knowing. That's why you picked this path, because you knew you needed the message in this path. And I believe in you. Until next time, Power. Hello, Power 2. Welcome to your intuitive message, and welcome to your new beginning. So love, you understand it now. You know those videos where this man, he's always attempting to shoot a basketball in like a crazy place or from a crazy distance, like a football or something, whatever. And he misses it the first time. He didn't quite get it. He didn't quite understand it. But then about his second or third attempt, it's successful. Why can't I talk today? Successful. And he looks at the camera and says, I understand it now. This is you in whatever relationship, whether it be romantic or communal or family-wise, you understand it now because you are beginning to understand yourself how to. With your current partner, I'm going to focus on romance right now. I see the dots connecting, but don't rush it. If you just left from a really tough spot, or you're still healing from some sort of really tough spot in a relationship, don't rush it. Don't rush it, and don't fake like you're somewhere you're not. Don't fake like it's completely healed and you forgot about it. That is not how you reconnect. That is not how you bond. That is not how you build. You're honest. And if you've made the decision to forgive or attempt to forgive that person, then you have to move like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be throwing up old stuff, and don't be letting nobody throw up your old stuff. If they agreed on making it work, throwing up old stuff is not making it work. That's just how I feel. Somebody could feel different, but that's just how I feel. If you're going through something right now, there is potential for healthy conflict resolution if all parties are honest. It's really hard for me to talk during. If you watch my channel, you know I have this speech thing where some words are hard for me to talk, but this reading in particular is so hard because I don't know if there is something in this relationship, this connection, where y'all haven't been wanting to be honest. Like the throat chakra is dry and it is parched, baby. Like you ate a Popeye's biscuit, you gonna have to cough some stuff up. But if you're honest, things can get better. But don't fake the funk, baby. Just be honest about where you at in the relationship and your feelings and your trauma and your healing journey. Because if the goal is forever, if they are intended to be a life partner, if this is intended to be a life connection, there is no need to rush. There is no need to rush. There's potential for reconnection and growth if y'all haven't been talking. This is your sign that there is potential. I'm not gonna say go and run and call your ex, but if you've been thinking about somebody and you're seeking clarity on that relationship, there is potential for growth and reconnection if all parties are honest. It may take self-reflection, some shadow work, connecting with your inner child. Why you handled that conflict like that? Why you did that? Why you betrayed that person? It may take that, and it might not be you. It might be that other person that needs to do that. But I'm not saying it's gonna be easy just because it's potential there. You have to be able to communicate your wants and needs without being so rah-rah. It's about this spot that you're in, whatever you're going through, it's about mastering your emotions, your emotional intellect, being emotionally intelligent. It's not about who's right, it's about what's right. And you have to remember that whoever this person, this connection is, y'all supposed to be on the same team. If y'all acting like y'all not on the same team and trying to reach a point where it's like lovey-dovey and all smoothing out, then you might need to walk away from that thing. Also, something tells me that there may have been like a lack of balance. Balance needs to be restored. Somebody is taking too much, or somebody is giving too much. It might be you taking, or giving too much. You need to really sit down and meditate and figure out if you're depleted or you haven't been doing what you need to be doing in this connection. And it could be a spiritual imbalance, physically, financially, a power imbalance, an unequal amount of responsibilities. If the balance is not restored, you may reach a breaking point. I'm just going to keep it honest. If you glance over this, if there's not a conversation had, you may reach a breaking point and you might not be able to connect the dots. But you should use this soft spot, this rough spot, to alchemize, to be honest. I believe that this is a relationship that can be healthy. It may be healthy now. It just may be going through a little something. Use this as a time for y'all to be closer to each other. But be brave, because I feel like Pal 2, you are the one that needs to say what is on your chest, as it's been hard for me to talk. Be brave, be honest, but be gentle. You know, some people, they like to lay the truth on people, but say it all crazy. Like, you ain't got to do that. I have a feeling that if this person is meant for you, they will receive it with love. Because if your loved one comes to you and says, I need this, if they love you, it should be nothing. Or they should be able to say, I don't have the capacity to do that for you. I believe in you, Pal 2. I believe you're going to say whatever you have to say in a gentle way. You're going to do the shadow work. And this relationship, this connection is going to be restored. And until next time, Pal 2. Hello, Pal 3. Welcome to your reading. Your reading is very exciting, very fun, fresh, flirty. Yeah, let's get into it. Pal 3, you may have been focused on work or being too serious in your relationships, in your love life. If you have a partner, there needs to be more passion, more fire, more intimacy, some more spontaneous activities, some date nights, just some things you have never thought about before, right? And if you're single, I have a good feeling that a lot of Pal 3 is single though. You'll find what you're looking for by letting your hair down. I just see like a fun, flirty young person just letting their hair down, like in the wind, in a drop top convertible, real cute sports car, like smelling good, the flyest of clothes on. Like, that's you, Pal 3. And this may be new for you, Pal 3. You're just that type. You're just fly. You're just fun, flirty. You need a connection that is very sexy, very healthy, that's always keeping it fresh. And remember, like, you don't always have to seek something serious. You know, some people date for fun. Some people date just because they're trying to find their life partner. You can do what you want when you popping. You can do what you want when you're sexy, as long as you're being honest. And these people, that person, know what's going on, right? Because every connection teaches you something, whether it be long-term, short-term, or a one-night stand. It taught you something. It taught you about what you didn't like, what you might like, what you know you like now. It teaches you something. You're not even attracted to the same things, Pal 3. And something is telling me to tell you, like, let go what people want for you. You might have some chatty friends in your ear that's like, hey, that girl not for you, that guy's not for you. But you're like, what if I like it though? Who said that? Your parents might want you to date someone coming from a certain socioeconomic background, and you're like, what if I don't like that? What if I want Jenny from the block around the way kind of girl. What if I want that? This connection that you may be in currently or that you're about to run into is going to be something you remember for the rest of your life, right? This is someone that brings you so much joy, and it might not be your type of long-term thing. It might turn into that, but you might not recognize that right now. You're like, this feels good. This person is fun, and you'll always remember this. You'll always remember this, and they'll always remember you. You will know when it's this person, right, that I'm referring to, or this connection I'm referring to, because they gonna have you thinking, going to places you've never thought about going to. In fact, places that you probably frowned upon, or you're like, that ain't my type of thing. They gonna have you tasting all different kinds of food, listening to all different kinds of artists. You're learning what it truly means to date and discover new types of love. You may be coming from a past where you were a serial like monogamous. Like you just had to be. It just had to be that one and done. Whenever you left something, you went directly into something real serious. And you're like, hey, that's not me anymore. In fact, I thought that was healthy, and it's not healthy, because I'm going from one committed thing to another committed thing, and I'm not even learning the new versions of myself, right? You're in for a fun and free time, as I was saying, or you may be moving from something serious, and a whole new world is about to open up for you if you let it, if you just let your heart. And ooh, something just came up for me. Don't take this the wrong way, Pile 3. This may even be a new type of love or a new type of gender expression. You might be going from monogamy to a poly relationship. You may be exploring your sexuality. You may be dating genders and people you never thought you would date before, right? Yeah, let's get into it. And let's be honest, you may not be ready for monogamy. That does not mean that you don't deserve love. There's so many different types of love out here. There's platonic, there's deep platonic relationships with people from other genders. I used to have sleepovers with people, and we never thought about being like physically intimate other than cuddling. And that may be what you're down for at this point in your life. You may just be off of the typical romantic bond, because you're getting to know yourself, and you're getting to know the fun version of yourself. You know, not the version of you that goes directly from work to back home, or working at home. You ready to be outside, because there's love outside. And just discern, you know, you got to know what type of love you're looking for outside. I believe in you, Pile 3. Until next time, my love.